Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of the Jitsi Community Co. Let's get started with a few quick updates. We have a brand new toolbar that's coming along. It looks really slick. People who are on test flight will already be seeing it on mobile. It's also coming on desktop, so that's pretty nice. We also recently landed some work on um, um, responsive design. So behavior on mobile browsers is already much better, but there's a bunch of work that will land again soon. And we'll see further improvements. Among them, you have things like flipping the camera easily on a mobile browser. So uncluttering, there was some weirdness when you clutter things together. So that's also cool. We also keep working on, a ton of optimizations to try and make sure that Jitsi can scale up to 500 people. I don't know if anyone here, Boris, Jonathan, Damien, would like to add a few things about the changes there.
Yeah, so we've made a number of backend optimizations. So with the load test version of the client, the backend can handle 500 people, including we've recently landed some stuff in the load test tool that actually does speaker switching when you're doing 500 people, and that's also working. There were some more optimizations for that. All those are in our master and not yet in stable, I don't think. So there's still work being done to get the client side working with 500, which somebody else can talk about because I'm the backend guy.
Jay or Christo, would you like to? Oh, Jay is not here. Well, Christo, do you want to talk about the optimizations that we're doing on the front end?
Yeah, actually, last week the last part of the film strip rectification got merged in master, so this is seen now. I don't think it's released anywhere actually yet, but probably soon. And yeah, other than that, I'm currently trying to figure out a way to do some more optimization on the film strip side, like reducing the render thumbnails there. And actually, this is going to be the first step, and I guess we'll need to do some testing after that and decide if we need something more or what to do. So I think that's all for now.
Sounds good. Damien, do you want to talk about any of anything else there?
Yeah, Jonathan mentioned we would a lot of.
I think you might be using the wrong microphone, by the way.
How is it now?
Oh, it's better.
So many optimization on the backend, including signaling. So yeah, we're trying to reduce the number of signaling messages that are exchanged and the size of it, especially when joining a call, because normally meetings are for an hour and people tend to join in a few minutes, which was causing a lot of load on the XMPP side. So I was looking mainly on those.
Sounds good. I don't think Tudor is here, but I think we mentioned in one of our previous posts that Blur is going out of beta, and what that really means is an entirely new version of Blur that has nothing to do with the old one. And virtual background will land with that as well. We'll also be adding a few more. We'll be extending the speaker stats tool in the near future to add something like accounting for reactions, essentially to tell people this was a happy call. I mean, people were smiling that percentage of the time, or frowning that percentage of the time. So we think that would be cool as well. Anyone else want to give any updates?
The other exciting thing for the back end is that the VP9 bridge changes have finally landed. We are not yet deploying.
Oh, really? It merged?
Yes,
it is merged?
We merged it. Yeah, we merged that. Yeah, it was when you were on vacation. Yeah, so we merged that. We still aren't putting it in production use anywhere. But the code has landed, so if people want to test that, then let us know how it's working on the community, particularly if you start bringing in clients that don't support VP9, we'd like to get more testing of that. That'd be great.
And just to be clear, Jonathan, did we also land? Did we also land the fallback?
Yeah, I believe that should be in the client code, though I guess Jay isn't here, so, but I believe that should be there. So
this is great news. Thank you very much. Anyone else want to add anything?
Yeah, Gibri now defaults to 1080 resolution in master. There's an unstable release for that. We'll probably roll that out to meet this week. And if that looks good, then it'll hit stable and we'll continue rolling that out. But it is in master and there is an unstable build for it.
That's great news. Thank you very much, Brian. All right. At this point, we can open the microphone.
Actually, Scott.
Oh yeah, this is Scott.
Oh,
I'm new to the team.
Hi, Scott. I don't see you.
My network is screwed up right now, so you can't see me. But anyway, just for the community, the Slack integration that we've had for a couple of years now has recently been updated to accommodate Slack's new OAuth model, which requires less permissions. I'm mainly mentioning this in case anyone runs their own, they'll need to redo their databases with new tokens. Or if you're using our community one, you might need to reinstall the app because it's updating to Slack's new OAuth.
All right, mic open. Give us your questions, comments.
I have a question.
That's accepted. Oh, I was hoping it would be praise.
Well, it's also praise. It's also praise.
Good.
So the problem I was running into the past few weeks turned out to be very interesting on our side.
So just so I understand, the praise is that we create very interesting problems.
No. The praise is that the problem was completely our fault, and UDP port wasn't open. So,
okay.
So the past half a year, Jitsi has been working for some extremely weird reason through the turn, and we didn't notice. So the question is, how the fuck did that work? And
we support it over TCP. I mean, not just us. I guess Chrome can take some of the credit if we have to be accurate. But
so it didn't fall back to the turn.
Turn supports turn TCP, which means that your traffic is sent from you to the bridge. From you to the turn server in TCP, from the turn server to the video bridge in UDP. And then if there's a turn connection on the other side, it gets, the same thing. Bridge to turn UDP and then turn to client TCP.
But turn would only be for peer-to-peer failing.
No. Well, I mean, I don't know how you set up your environment, but on Jitsi, for example, we also front the bridge with turn TCP. So one of the candidates that the bridge sends is a turn TCP candidate.
Mm-hmm. So there's a built-in turn server, basically.
No.
Okay.
No, I mean, you have to configure your bridge to use the same turn server. So
and then deploy and run a turn server.
Yeah. No. Actually, you have to. Yeah. I mean, you have to configure. Well, actually, you configure the Meet Jitsi to have the client use the turn server. The bridge doesn't itself use the turn server.
But
that's true. Yes.
Why does the turn server get used with more than 2 participants as well?
Yes, it will. Yeah, will get used. The turn server will get used for the connection to the bridge. That's used exactly in the case where the client has no UDP connectivity whatsoever, or at least no connectivity to the bridge. So if you manage, yeah.
So it was going through the turn, or was it going through TCP?
It's client, turn, bridge, turn, client.
Yeah. So yeah, the bridge in its default configuration, the bridge does not itself have TCP connections. It relies on the turn server for that. But the client will will gather a turn candidate for its connection to the bridge.
Okay, so
it's usually not the fastest one to connect, as you might imagine. But if you have no UDP, that's the way you come in.
I'm sorry, I summarized it wrongly. I said that it was the bridge advertising a turn candidate, but Jonathan's right. I mean, just this once, Jonathan is right.
Usually.
And it's the client configures itself with a turn server. So it's sending its stuff to the turn server over TCP, and then the bridge just views the turn server address as the address for the client, and it sends its traffic there. It used to be that the bridge had native TCP support, but it and at some point that had a real advantage because Chrome supported this weird TLS simulation that used to add a little bit of an edge for some proxies. So things would go through when they wouldn't otherwise. And then I think we discarded it at some point because it was adding too much complexity. It wasn't neat to maintain, and turn TCP was accomplishing pretty much the same. So turn supports TLS as well. I believe we advertised turn S candidates as well. So we would even, you would even have that. I don't know. Do we do that actually in our turn service? Do we have turn S?
We do TLS and UDP.
Boris, you're coming out from the wrong place.
Yeah, I'm on a very shitty network, so I had to switch to mobile. Sorry about the noise.
And yeah, so
no, there isn't.
Yes, but yeah, I believe for the connection to the to the bridge, the client only tries the turn S connection, not turn UDP, because the theory is that if you have, this is only the fallback for when the only thing they can get through is TLS. Because the theory being is if you can reach the turn server by UDP, you can probably reach the bridge by UDP also. So there's no point in the extra candidates.
I think that behavior is behind the flag, so it depends on config.
Yeah, that's the default config, but it depends on how you have it configured.
Yeah, who are you servicing with your installation? If it's not indiscreet, I'm just curious.
I work for a company called Aranet in Switzerland, in Bern. So, I was doing private stuff, but now we're getting more and more into completely deploying the Jitsi.
And are you using that for your company alone, or are you using it with your customers as well?
We're going to resell it if it goes well. We're going to be selling it as a part of the matrix. Yeah, sorry. But part of the matrix kind of like setup, and that's the conference calling part of it. Yeah.
Pretty cool.
But I'm pretty sure we'll get in touch with you on the more official levels. I'm just a developer trying to figure out how everything works. And
if you get in touch with me, I'm going to try and sell you jazz. But
yeah, but that's okay. I already offered it to them, and we're still in the beginning. So, and we're focused more on how to do the whole instant messaging thing, but Jitsi is going to be a big part of it, and that's why I came pretty early to see what's going on, and I'm also very interested in general myself personally. So, yeah.
Well, we've been very glad to have you. Thank you for.
Thank you. It's amazing, this project.
We saw you, Scott.
For a second there. Hey.
Oh, you sound amazing. Why do you sound so well?
I had to reboot actually, so I seem to be a little bit better now.
No, your microphone sounds great. Anyways, so what you're getting from Scott now is the shittiest version of our blur, and you get like 2 frames a second from him, and that works a lot better with the new blur that will land soon. But so Scott, thank you for sacrificing yourself for demonstrating the before picture.
Oh, no problem.
And we can do after.
How can we deploy that ourselves? Is it with the Docker Compose, or do you have to do a little bit more?
You can use the Docker with the unstable or the unstable Debian packages. Both will do.
Do you need to do something to enable SIMD in Chrome for that to work?
No, but that's a great point. So it works best with WASM SIMD extensions, which we have an origin trial for. But if you want to test it locally, you can go to Chrome //flags and enable it there. Or we will fall back to the non-SIMD version, which is still better than what we have today, but it's not the best you can have. So the best behavior, you get it in browsers that support SIMD extensions, which right now are Chrome only. The others will get the fallback, which doesn't use SIMD. Still better than the BodyPix model that we were using.
What other
before.
browsers are there?
There is the red browser, and then there is the browsers that don't support filters like Safari, where nothing works right now.
Oh, thank
so
you. So
it's disabled actually.
Reality on a Monday morning. All right. Anyone else would like to chime in? Kaidwan, I think this is the first time ever that I see you. I don't think you've shown yourself before. I'm glad that you're doing it now.
You're muted.
You're muted, however, so we don't hear you. You're muted, or at least your microphone isn't working.
No, it's muted. It says mute.
Oh, okay. I guess we'll hear later from you. It looks like he's talking to us, but he might be actually in an article.
That's what I was thinking.
Oh, sorry, I muted myself. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
Glad
now.
to see you, man.
Okay, I'm sorry. So.
We'll forgive you.
Okay, some bad thing happened in my home. So in January, so one of my family member contracted COVID-19. So.
Oh, sorry to hear that. Hope they're all right.
And she's back. She survived. So a little bit I didn't show up in the last month, 7 months. And I'm very excited about Jonathan news. 500 users. Oh, this very exciting. Okay, I have a lot of questions. Congratulations, guys. Really, very big.
Well, we're not. No, hold your horses. Don't congratulate us yet. We're not done with that. There's still some work to do there.
But we're close, right? We're close to Zoom, and Zoom sometimes is very bad. Okay, I use Zoom a lot, and even without video. Okay, because every Sunday, right? I turn a church, right? Online church, right? About 100 users. Most people just turn on video, right? 100, basically, just one pastor speaking, 100 users listening, right?
Yeah.
And Zoom, we use the Mac desktop, not browser version. Most of the time, it works very well. Sometimes the audio is kind of very crappy.
Well, to be fair to Zoom, like if you're using them through the browser, you're, really making it hard for them to work well.
I don't use the browser. I use the Mac. Mac application.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the top application. Sometimes the audio was not good. So, but very good. 500. So I have a lot of issues first. So how we test it?
Oh, with a lot of money.
You had a lot of people. 5 people join the same room.
No, we have a in the Jitsi meat torture repo. There's a tool called Malleus, which is will automatically start up if you've got a Selenium grid. It can automatically start up lots of clients that will connect to the server, and it can either use the actual API or a special lightweight version, which is designed so that we can run multiple instances of it from the same client, and thus not actually have to spend money on 500 AWS instances to run a 500-person call, but only like 50, which is a lot cheaper. So yeah, if you're interested in doing load testing, take a look in the Jitsi meat torture repo. There's a script called Malleus, which runs the load testing if you have a Selenium grid. And you can ask questions on the community.
You still not a computer, right? To run it, right? 500 people cannot run it.
50 computers,
roughly.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, generally 50 cloud servers, not 50 actual computers.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay.
What? You mean they're not real?
They're real somehow, but they're not in my house, which is the important thing.
Am I real?
If you need help, I can contribute some computer to you for the test. Okay. And another thing, how many for these 500 users? How many screens each user receive?
So far, many fewer. We're generally just having a few people sending videos to simulate like a conference where most people are, and only like 1 or 2 people talking at a time. But we're planning on sending more, and as we get more testing. The problem is, the other problem is that it takes more compute on the testing grid to actually send video. So we're trying not to spend too much money on the testing grid. So we're only having a few send video. So we're not using too much CPU. We're not spending too much money on CPU for testing, but we're going to try sending more and see what happens.
Okay, so you just mentioned in a one user per JVB, right? Can you share the configuration of the box?
Right now we're testing on the AWS C5X larges. We're going to switch it over to the OCI, the testing on the OCI that we actually use in our production systems soon. The reason we're not doing that yet is because we don't yet have our testing grid running on Oracle, and running the testing grid and the actual bridges in different clouds tends to not work very well. But so that'll switch over to the OCI. I guess E3s are the
E3 Flex, yeah.
Yeah.
Very
and
nice.
Probably we'll be able to put more on a node then, because the E3 Flex is more powerful than the C5X large, as I recall.
Yeah.
Excellent. Very, very good news.
All right. Does anyone else have any questions?
I have one more question.
Go.
I can't really reproduce this, but I've seen it twice, and another person in our company also said he saw the exact same thing. Joining a call, it happened to me this morning, joining a call in Europe. So joining a call and then noticing that someone else is in the call and I cannot see him at all, but other people in the call can see and hear him. And then I'm speaking, he's speaking, he can hear me, but I can't hear him at all. And other people are talking to him and I'm thinking, what's going on?
Okay, so he hears you and sees you.
Yeah.
You get no media from him.
No, but I can't even see like a UI widget saying that he's there.
Are you behind here?
Yeah, it's like crazy.
Firewall?
Don't think so. Everything else is working fine. So
this actually happens because in my company we have firewall. So if you are behind firewall and you don't have term server on configured, then
no. But he said that he's not even seeing the thumbnail. So something else is going on here.
No widget. Yeah, no.
Sorry.
I have seen something like that, and it can occasionally happen when your XMPP connection is like XMPP WebSocket is temporarily disconnected and it's trying to reconnect. Then during this time, you will just not have any stream signal for this participant. So maybe when it happens, check in the JavaScript console if that's not the case. So, but it can be still something else, but I saw something like that once, yeah.
So I have to point out, we do have authentication on our server, so you have to authenticate, and I'm usually the one doing the authentication, so maybe that might point why I'm the one who didn't see the other person. Maybe he joined before I clicked on authenticate and something happened in those seconds.
Yeah, so in general, authentication is not, the XMPP one, is not a path that we test profusely. So you might want to think about switching to JWT tokens and some other form of authentication that you built internally. Because you're going down a path that's essentially never tested.
JWT?
JWT. So, we support, that's how we authenticate me, Jitsi, and 8x8 VC. People have to come in with a JWT token. There's support for that in all sorts of places. And that's how we authenticate people.
Cool,
Jazz
look into
supports
it.
that. I'm just saying.
Okay. Thanks.
Sure. All right. Anyone else?
No, one more question. So Jonathan, you mentioned VP9 is landing in the master, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. Bridge in Jigova and JV.
Yeah. So yeah. Well, I mean, so if you want to enable it, you can change the configuration in the Jacofo to say enable VP9 as well as VP8 right now, and see that's just a configuration change for Jacofo as long as you have the latest bridge. And
okay.
Master, yeah.
Cool. I will try it out. Okay.
And we have a question from Stan. Is there an updated diagram of what was shown last month? I don't know. It was a contributor that showed it. I don't know where they stand. Would speaker stats include browser each person is using? I don't know. No. So what's that? I don't know what. Stan, I'm sorry, I keep interrupting you. I don't know whether we would include browser. We weren't planning to. I guess it's a little bit. I'm concerned that it's a little bit of it's a bit of a privacy reveal. The whole point with speaker stats and emotion analysis is that we only, essentially show you stuff that you could have done yourself in theory, right? You could have just taken notes on how much everyone's speaks. So we're just saving you the need to use a chronometer. Telling people what browser you use is revealing your configuration. So we could reveal, for example, that you're not at your usual place or something like that. So I don't think we're likely to show people what browser you're using. Hope this answers your question.
So any particular reason you run a bridge on Oracle?
We just like the name.
I mean,
no,
someone told me
yes, money is the
AWS
reason.
is not good for the real time. Is that
No.
true?
No.
Okay.
Money is the reason.
Okay, got it.
Sorry, what is that, John?
I'm just gonna say, yeah, Oracle is significantly cheaper. So.
I mean, you could essentially say that it's not good for real time because it ends up costing you a lot of money. So you're not wrong.
A good idea, yeah.
See a hand up.
Actually, some pretty. Sorry, go ahead.
I was saying I see someone with a hand up, but.
Right, Hamza, what's up?
Yes, hi, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Good, thank you. I have a question about Octo, because last time we spoke about it, you said you only use it on Jitsi because, on big conferences. And
Correct.
You don't use it anymore for geographical filtering. Correct. And is it temporary or?
No. Yeah. We're not planning on turning it back on anytime soon because as I mentioned, and Boris can share more data here, but based on the analysis that we ran, it wasn't actually improving things. The RTT was increasing when we had Octo because there were cases, just to give you a kind of an extreme example, if you have someone in the Netherlands and someone in Belgium connecting to conferences, it could be that one of them is sent to London and the other one is sent to Frankfurt because of how geolocation works. And so you essentially add this entire Frankfurt to London leg for no reason. And that ends up adding a lot of latency. So overall, there was only one region. I think it was US West, that people were getting slightly better performance, and everywhere else, turning Octo on was actually increasing the RTT.
Right.
The other issue with it was that if you do inter-region, that means that every Jacopo needs to know about every bridge, and with the huge amount of extra bridges we had with the scale up, that tended to overwhelm the Jacopos. So given that there wasn't that much benefit and it sort of overwhelmed the servers, it's a lot
that's
easier.
true. But I guess the reason I didn't mention that one is that one is fixable in theory. We could handle the distribution of bridges in Jacopos somehow better. But even if we do that, we'd still run into the fact that it's not actually making things much better. Right? It's making them worse.
Okay, I see. Because in our case, it's very important to use Octo because we have internal and external users. So internal users, they connect to the internal data center. And external users, they connect to a public data center. And the two data centers are connected through a secure VPN connection. But if you just stop Octo, it's
and is that because other than that secure VPN connection, there's no way for the internal users to reach the external server and the other way around?
No, because it's gonna be very slow because they have to go through internet proxies and many firewalls. Yes, because they're not allowed to connect to the internet for UDP connections.
Okay, understood.
But if you just stop Octo integration, it's gonna be very, very hard for.
We're still supporting Octo for all the cases where
you don't recommend it.
Well, we don't. We don't recommend it if what you're talking to is all cloud servers like we have. I think that does not to say we're not, we're removing support for it or.
We're actively using it. Very actively.
Yeah, we're actively using it. You're actively using it for the load distribution, but which means it'll keep working, and we're still keeping developing it and maintaining it. So I think for your environment, it sounds like Octo would be a reasonable thing to do, and
yes,
we're not going to remove support for it or anything.
Okay, because I also noted a very important RTT when using Octo, even though the servers they have a very good connection, but I don't know why.
Like how much larger is the RTT when you use Octo?
It was like 10 seconds.
Well, no, that's that's obviously nothing that we've ever seen. Like what's and again, the Octo that we were using for cross-regional bridge connections is the same code on the bridge that we use now, right? And we never see anything like that. So I would, is it possible that it's the VPN that sits in the middle that potentially has something to do with this?
I'm not sure that's the problem, because when I restarted the GVBs, everything went well. They just needed a restart, so that was very interesting.
I don't know. Seen anything like a 10-second delay incurred by a bridge?
It's not always 10 seconds, but it's like always between 2 seconds and 10. And once I restarted GVB, it was good.
And does this delay, is it only incurred when Octo is involved, or if you have users only on one of the bridges, is there a delay?
Very interesting question, because I only tested it with Octo. Well, we started noticing this problem with Octo, but it's something that we haven't had before.
And I assume you're monitoring the load of the machines, so you know that they're not just way overloaded.
Yeah, because we have like very big machines with 48 cores.
Is that the French government thing?
Yes, exactly.
Oh, we're just making them pay tax.
And we actually are going to use Octo with the Ministry of Ecology, the data center, and the finance data center, which is an internal data center. And I don't know if you know OVH, the French provider.
Yeah, the one that burned down.
Oh yeah, let's not talk about that. Yeah, because we're going to use OVH for external users. But anyway, the problem is solved by restarting GVBs.
Is it something? So did you only see that once, or is it something that happens often to you?
It happened for 2 weeks.
So you would restart the bridge, and after
every night.
how much?
So I restart the bridge every night, and everything is fine now.
The only thing I can think of is one of the leaks we've had in the past few months. I don't know how recent of a version you're running.
Yeah, by the way, I'm not on the latest stable version. I have the version of October 2020.
Yeah, we've had a couple of fixes for leaks, but they were pretty minor. So I don't expect it to.
But I can certainly imagine that, like, if your bridge has gotten to the point where you have so many leaks that it's constantly trying to garbage collect itself, you could get something like that. So you might want to. We have various instrumentation, which I think is largely, at least some of which is in the open source repos. I need to check, that can monitor like how much, the thread count and the memory, the Java memory pool and the garbage collection, things like that. So
it's just up from the JVM. Yeah, I was going to say you could check time and garbage collection. The other thing I was thinking you could do is we have this packet timeline feature. You'd have to do some debugging. I don't know if it's only happening in prod or something, that'd be hard. But we have a mode where you can turn on these timelines for packets, so you can see the entire lifetime of a packet in the bridge and how long it spends in each place.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also some higher level, just like delay of packets inside the bridge itself that is much lighter weight and might also be interesting.
Yeah, okay, well, I will debug that. Okay, thank you. So you confirm that Octo is still going to be supported by Jitsi. There's no plan.
Absolutely. No,
we're great.
Relying very, very heavily on it.
Well, okay, thank you. That's great.
And the new stable release that is coming will have a lot of fixes there.
Do you have do you know one? I mean, the latest stable version.
No. I was mentioning that we're talking about the new stable version maybe this week, and that will.
Right, I think that's what he was asking. Probably this week or next, Hamza.
Okay, perfect.
Hey, Hamza, did you? You were supposed to email me about.
Yes, yeah. I'm trying to talk to my colleagues before because.
I try that too sometimes, but it's.
Yeah, if I send you an email, it's it's with my company. It's not my responsibility. But I'll see.
I just wanted to make sure that I haven't missed it.
I have to send you an email from the French government's email address and another email from my company's address. Well, we're gonna talk about it. It's about 2 different subjects. But mainly, the main subject is to make Jitsi more compatible with accessibility standards. So that's the main subject. I'll email you, I think, this week.
Okay.
It should be fine.
All right. Sounds good.
Good. Thank you.
Oh, right. And by the way, I think we've broken something, folks. I need to we'll reconvene on that later. Anyways, thank you very much, everyone, for joining. This was a great call. You have a wonderful fortnight, and we'll meet you again in 14 days. Bye-bye.